Welcome to Barrier Tech. This is going to be a demonstration on how to download and install the SQL Server 2000 Express Edition to get ready to install the ProlineSE client. So we're going to go to the Barrier Tech site, and down here at the bottom under the ProlineSE system, there you'll see under the installation you'll see SQL Server 2000. We will click on this. Now what you will need to know is if your system is a 64-bit or a 32-bit system. If your computer is a 64-bit system, I suggest you download and install this first one here. If you have a 32-bit system, you'll want to come down here to the x86 and install this one right here. Now since this is a 64-bit system, we are going to install the 64-bit Express Edition in the system. So we're going to click it, we're going to hit next, and then we're going to begin our download. And then once this finishes, we'll continue. Okay, now that our download is finished, we're going to come up here to our downloads folder where we downloaded the install file to, and you're going to see this SQL Express 64-bit or the x86, depending on which one you downloaded. We're going to double click on it. We're going to run it. We can get rid of this screen now. Okay, once it gets through its initial installation, you're going to get this screen. We're going to want to come up here to the top and say New SQL Server Standalone Installation. We'll click on it. Okay, once we come to this page, we're going to accept the license terms. We're going to hit next. Okay, when this comes up on the instance features, we're going to make sure these first two are checked. We're going to hit next. Okay, now that we come to this page, this part's kind of important. What we're going to want to do is we're going to select default instance. And that should flip it over to the MS SQL Server instance. We're going to take the rest of the defaults and we're going to hit next. Okay, on this screen we're going to take the defaults and we're going to hit next. Okay, when this screen comes up, this is another important part. We're going to want to switch it over to mix mode. This password can be anything that you would like to set your system to, something that easily for you to remember. We're going to hit next, next again, and it's going to start its installation. So I'm going to pause it here right now and we're going to wait till the installation is complete. Okay, now that our installation is complete, we're going to close, and then we can close this screen. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to want to make a couple more adjustments to our SQL Server installation. In case we're going to run multiple computers, we're going to go find the SQL Server Configuration Manager. It's usually going to be under All Programs. We'll come down to the SQL Server 2000, under Configuration Tools, and it's SQL Server Configuration Manager. Okay, when this pops up, we're going to want to come under here to the SQL Network Configuration, go to Protocols for the MS SQL Server, click on it, and TCP/IP. We need to enable this. We can also double click on it, make sure that it's listed on all, and that the ports are going to be 1433. Hit OK. Now that this is done, it won't take effect until we restart our SQL Server. So we're going to come up here to SQL Server Services, go to the SQL Server MS SQL Server, right click, restart. Okay, so now that our SQL Server is finished installing and it's all set up and ready to go for the ProlineSE to be installed, we're going to close this out. We're going to go back to the Barrier Tech site. We're going to go back to the ProlineSE system, and we're going to download and install the ProlineSE client. Once this comes up, we're going to hit install. It's going to start its download. Even though it says this, we're going to hit the drop down. We're going to say keep. And then we're going to run the exe. Okay, now if you've never set up, we're going to type in our email address. And then we can click on subscription to create our key. But I've already downloaded a key, so we're going to go ahead, or I've already installed a key, so we're going to go ahead and download our license key. And once we've done that, it's going to come up to the database connection. To do our database connection, we're going to hit our drop down and we're going to hit localhost. We can also use the IP address as well. But we're just going to do localhost since this is going to be our primary computer right now. If I was going to connect from a remote computer to another computer, since this system will actually support multiple computers at one time, then I would actually hit remote computer and change my database server to the IP address of, or I would type in the IP address of the actual server, the other client that's running that has our database installed. But since this is actually going to be the server, we're going to switch it to localhost, remove remote connection, hit our drop down. Now we don't have any databases installed, so we're going to name this one. We're going to name it ProlineSE. We're going to hit save and close. It's going to pop and say we need to synchronize our database. We're going to hit OK, and then the screen will come back up. We're going to hit database sync. It's going to do our ProlineSE database. Hit OK. Now that our database sync is complete, we need to restart our application. So we'll hit OK, come back up to our ProlineSE icon, and now our database and our ProlineSE system are completely installed. It tells us how our license key right here, what the IP address is of the server we're connected to, and what version of the software we're running. Well, that right there is going to conclude how to set up and install the Microsoft SQL Server and the ProlineSE system. Check our other videos out to learn the features of this ProlineSE system. Thank you.